Look at that unit. That right there, son. That's some that's some private land hunting.
Recycled ladder stands.
I don't think it's gonna go anywhere as long as you rice. All right, guys.
Welcome to the Deer Shop Podcast, presented by Siman Brothers Outdoors and the Leaky John Boat Company.
Yeah. He went and watched a movie that has a $200 million production budget, and then the next thing he watched was our video on YouTube that has a $0 production budget.
This is the first buck I've shot in over 10 years.
Your track job was the first fun track job. That kind of like, I think part of my life was influenced by that night.
Then you miss him 3 times with a rifle at 70 yards on video for the whole world to see.
That's what Caleb did. 5 years ago, we couldn't shoot a deer at 100 yards with a slug gun. Now you're shooting turkeys at 100 yards with a shotgun.
Joey takes the shop is closing up.
Make sure he takes all his right antlers. You can't leave anything.
Deer Shop Podcast, episode 149. And if you're watching on the YouTubes,
we're in a different place today.
yeah, we're not in the studio.
In a new place, technically. Ethan's truck.
I mean, yeah, technically, yeah, we're in Ethan's truck. I've done some podcasts on this stretch of road before, but we are doing a true mobile hunting podcast because we're driving down the highway, me and Ethan in his new truck, and we are heading to Kentucky
to do the opposite of mobile hunting.
Yeah, we're actually, me and Ethan are on our way down to Kentucky to get the farm ready down there for the Velvet Opener, which is in 6 weeks, 5.5 weeks, 5 weeks, 5-ish weeks.
We'll be heading down in 5 weeks.
It's like 25, 26 days away.
Yeah.
We're going to be heading to Kentucky for the, let's see here, let's count. 2020, and then you're 2 times without me, and then I've gone 2 years in a row. This will be 3. So this is the 6th season that we've spent hunting in Kentucky for whitetails.
This is my 4th straight season.
This will be my 3rd straight.
Yeah. I think I only did 1 year without you guys.
You're right. So 5. This is our 5th season hunting them. You did the first year of the Deer Camp Chronicles solo. We've had a Kentucky episode for every single season of the Deer Camp Chronicles.
Yeah. The first episode was me in Kentucky by myself.
The very first episode of the Deer Camp Chronicles was Ethan in Kentucky by himself. You had a pretty good, you had a good hunt for that. You did public land for a bit and then got the permission where we're going, right?
Yeah, but the actual video, I believe, well, there's a bunch of video on me on public and the first hunt on the private, and then the video of the bucks was the second weekend because I went back down went down back-to-back weekends.
That's right. Some of those bucks, and I'll go through when I have time here coming up real soon. Some of those deer, I believe, might still be the ones we're hunting to this day. That one big 10.
They look similar.
Yeah, that one big 10-pointer, spoiler alert, we got a big 10-pointer down there in Kentucky again. This might be the 4th season in a row that he's been there.
Yeah. A lot of deer high and tight.
Yeah.
The profile on this farm, stretch of land, is high and tight 8s.
Yeah, high and tight 8s. But yeah, we're not mad about it. We only have one camera down there right now. Dylan was lucky enough to, Dylan was nice enough to go down there during turkey season and set up a mineral lick and put up a trail camera. And it's been going ever since then. Did you go down?
No, yeah. I went down.
Did you go down? Have you been down there yet this year?
Yeah. I went
remember.
shed hunting down there.
Oh, that's right. Before that. So, yeah.
And I didn't put the camera out, but Dylan did. I put mineral out, I believe.
Correct.
But did not put a camera on it because it was like March.
So before we get into what we're actually going to do, let's cover some quick business. If you're listening to this, it's Monday, and that means we are at the Medina County Fair in our booth from 3 to 7, Monday through Saturday, technically. It's not going to be open on Sunday. So 3 through 8, August 3 through 8, Monday through Saturday. We're going to be in our booth at the Medina County Fair, doing the same thing we have for the last 3 or 4 years. We'll have all the bucks from last year that we killed on display, and there'll be a TV up there playing our videos from last year. Our filming setups will be set up. We have a fake tree that we set up our camera arms and our tree stands, and I think we're going to set up a saddle on it this year to kind of show how the saddle goes. I don't know how well it'll play out, but we're going to have a saddle set up there so you can see that. And then Uncle Jay, Seasons Left, will have a display of his merchandise available up there to buy. So if you're local and you watch Jay's Moose film, or you've seen Uncle Jay on our podcast with Seasons Left, Harvest Moon Outdoorsman, and you want to buy a hoodie or a t-shirt or a hat, come up to the booth, 3 to 7, Monday through Saturday. Monday through Saturday.
His new collection just dropped, correct?
Yes, yep. I'm actually getting to that right now. So his merchandise will be in there. His website is live, so he does the seasonal release of his Seasons Left merchandise, but his website will have his base logo stuff with the moose. His primary logo is his moose from his moose hunt. That will all be available on his website at all times. And then when he does the seasonal releases, you'll be able to go on there and pick those up. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure he's going to do a whitetail release this fall.
I would imagine so.
A lot of people have been asking about a whitetail
or an elk.
release. Yeah, whitetail and an elk.
And a mule deer, I would imagine.
Because he did, the very first release was spring turkey, spring bear. So he had the turkey release and the bear release. And now his regular stuff is available. But then this fall, don't want to put words in his mouth, but I believe this fall will be whitetail and either elk or mule deer. We'll see how that goes. We'll see what he ends up doing. But if you're listening, that means his moose film has been released for a week, and we are very, very happy with not only the results, but the comments and the conversations that we've had on the film. They've been great. I think it was probably the biggest release we've had outside of a deer camp style release, or like a heavy bow hunting release, gun hunting release that we have in the fall. For being an earlier season Western, non-whitetail related type hunt, he did a really, really, really good job, and it worked out perfect.
You said there was one bad comment.
There was. So there was a comment on there about how he should have prepared. He should have been more prepared and read more about what to do once you kill the moose. Some guy said, "I bet you lost a lot of meat because you left it lay overnight before going back and starting the butchering process," and made some kind of shitty comment about loosing
meat?
Loosing,
nice.
Loosing meat. But all the rest of the comments were extremely positive. I mean, you're going to have negative comments no matter what. It's just one of those things. Also, as you're watching the podcast, we're filming mobily as we go on a GoPro, so the video might cut in and out. You might end up seeing the Deer Shot Podcast logo after a while. I'm sure no one's going to care that the podcast doesn't have me and Ethan sitting
in a truck
staring out the front windshield talking,
counting how many state highway patrolmen are on this road, because I've seen like 4.
Yeah, the cops are a little bit heavy. I don't know. It's not even like a holiday weekend or anything. It's kind of weird. Cops are a little bit heavy.
I think we're near a post.
That last one was one of the pull the truckers only one.
Yeah.
So don't really have to worry too much about it. But trying to think what other business we have. Oh, I went down to the Gore Farm this week. So we have officially started the whitetail scouting, the whitetail season. It is in full swing. We went down to the Gore Farm, got all the cell cams rolling from last year. Checked all the regular cams. We checked the food plots. Big shout out to Steve. Steve and Big Chris have been keeping the clover plots mowed. They kept Chris's mowed, and then they also did an addition. They planted a couple fall plots that are in and starting to come up. I wasn't quite sure what they were. I was trying to see what was coming up. I wasn't quite positive. I saw some clover and some stuff in there, some kind of brassica, maybe a cowpea or something. But Steve and Big Chris have been working on the food plots for us. They did a little addition to Chris's. We cleaned out some stand locations. Did his interview. So I filmed Chris for his Deer Stories interview for his upcoming episode, which will be in a couple weeks. I'm not sure exactly when it'll air. His will probably be the first one, since I've already got the pre-interview stuff recorded. But Chris's episode for his Deer Stories about the great 8 down there, the big 8-point he killed, which we had on camera for 4 straight seasons. Just an awesome story. Unfortunately, it does lack a little in the hunting footage department. So I'm gonna tell the story as best I can with what hunting footage I have for the story. If you watched our gun season video last year, you got to see Chris film the entire recovery of his whitetail. It was down over the hill. It got a lot of comments about how he's not a real man for not dragging a 250-pound whitetail up this hill. We actually went back and filmed a segment with Isaac's camera and Chris exactly where he shot the buck in the woods while we were down there and showing the steepness of the hill. Like, there's just no way a man is going to be able to drag a deer up a straight up and down incline in the leaves like that.
Yeah, I don't wet leaves, not a chance.
It's funny to me that so many people said that Chris was a big old fat pussy for not doing that when it's just
little Chris and big Chris.
There's just no fucking way they would have been able to do it. Now, that would be a situation where, yes, you shoot the deer 4 miles back and you pack them out. You know what I mean? Like, I understand that. He could have done that, but they ended up winching up the hill. But it'll be included in the video. It just it's interesting that, I shouldn't say it's interesting, but Chris's camera situation during that hunt with his batteries just constantly dying on him because of how cold it was. He wasn't able to capture any of the hunt pre him shooting that buck, which is unfortunate. And I know he's going to try and, I know it kind of weighed on him a bit, so he's going to try and do a better job this upcoming next year. But it's hard if you're not a guy that's filming full time to try and capture all that stuff in the moment. But
are we going to get Chris a DJI?
Yeah, I mean, his wife got him his camera
GoPro
set up for his birthday. I think his birthday or Christmas a couple years ago. But I mean, we've talked about it a ton. The GoPros in the cold weather, they just cannot last. It's unfortunate, but
when I was looking through the closets and stuff trying to find my DJI for this trip last night, I found like 6 GoPros with a bunch of batteries, like GoPro 8s, 9s, 10s, just hanging on the closet because they're worthless.
We need to just sell those.
Yeah.
I know we've brought that up on the podcast before. We mentioned that we were going to sell them. We need to get them all in a box, find out everything that we have, and then just sell the whole entire GoPro lot and switch to the DJIs. Yours lasted throughout the cold weather all year, right?
I don't think I've charged the batteries a bunch, but like I don't think I've changed cards or had any problems with mine, and there's still like 3 years of footage on my card.
Yeah, you need to get those cleared off.
Yeah,
get them ready to go. I'm going to buy for hunting this year, kind of similar to what we're filming with now. I'm going to buy a battery pack or get one of these battery packs and just run a cable to my GoPro probably from my book bag. Get like an 8-foot cable, run it from my book bag up the back of the tree or something kind of deal. Because those, if you have an external battery like that hooked up to them, they will record for a lot longer and they will last in the cold weather. It's more stuff to carry with you, but when you're doing travel hunting and stuff, it's nice to always have that second angle above you so you can capture things if your main camera is unable to do what it needs to do. I mean, hopefully I'm not hunting when it's 0 degrees again this year. So
I just hate when I'm hunting and like I have a buck encounter, so I click my GoPro on or second angle cam, then I forget about it. And then there's an hour and a half of footage of just me sitting there, glassing, looking, because that's happened to me before.
Yeah. What I don't like about the DJI that you guys have, you and Isaac and Luke. Well, Luke and Isaac now have the fancy ones too, right? They have the fancy ones and the regular ones like you have.
I have the action cam. Luke has an older action cam, and then Isaac just has the mini rotating gimbal one.
Luke has that one too, I think.
He does.
Yeah. So Luke has, but the DJIs, the action cams that look like what you would call a GoPro, they don't. Your guys' button to click to turn it on doesn't move. Mm-hmm. So like you can't click the button. It's just like it's hard to explain. But when you push the button, it doesn't move. So you like on the GoPro, you can feel it turning on. You can feel it turning off. The way the DJI button is more rigid. Yes, it starts recording when you push it, but then like. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but it doesn't feel as good clicking on and off as the GoPro does.
And we're so used to doing things a certain way because
yes.
we were running GoPros for 10 years, so like you get used to that muscle memory.
20 years.
Yeah, you get used to that muscle memory of like up, on, off, and then DJI is just click. Oh, there's nothing there.
Yeah, and like your screens, because I borrowed yours a few times. I think when I was like filming Nick and stuff late season, your screen settings are different. Like I have mine so it keeps the front screen on for like a minute.
Yeah,
so that I can see that it's recording and stuff.
Mine turns off after 3 seconds because Luke's buck from 2 years ago busted me because of that. Sledge?
Yeah.
3 years ago, I had an encounter with him, and I turned my second angle on, and he saw it and busted.
Yeah, because
of
it
the
was
screen.
like dark, right?
Yeah.
Early. It was morning hunt, correct? If I remember correctly, it was a morning hunt early.
We got the first picture of him that night, and then I went in there that morning after him, and he was bedded exactly where we thought. He came on the food plot, and I clicked it, tried to hide it, and he just saw it and busted.
Yeah, like you have to. It's not as big a deal when you're hunting like afternoons, or it's already light enough to where like the glow of the screen doesn't create any kind of distraction once there's enough light. But yeah, if you're at those bottom barrel light situations, early morning or late evening, the screen is something to be cognizant. But when your screen not staying on for a minute or 45 seconds or even 30 seconds, I couldn't always confirm that it was recording. You know what I mean, without looking. Because I like when the front screen stays on for just long enough where I can see the timer start going down, and like I know. And yours also wasn't blinking a light.
Yeah, because I turned it off.
Yeah, but I always have mine blink a light, so I know. It's just one of them things. But filming hunt problems. If you film your hunts, you know what we're talking about. I was debating on maybe getting a new camera set up this year, but I don't think I am. I think I'm going to roll with what I have for another season.
Talking about the GoPro?
Well, GoPro and my main cam, because you got a new main cam. We've talked about that on the podcast a little bit. I'm still rocking that Panasonic HCX 2000 that I bought in 2020. 2020 or 2021? 2020. Yeah, 2020. This will be the 6th full season of it. I'm gonna rock it again. I want to find the next camera that I purchase. I don't think I'm gonna go mirrorless like you guys did. I think I'm gonna stick with the camcorder world, but I gotta find the best low light camcorder that shoots in like 30, 60, and 120. I want to be able to shoot 4K 120 in my camcorder.
Full sensor.
Yeah, but I got to find one that has as big a sensor as possible, so the low lights, it's never going to be as good as the lens cameras, but I want a little bit better in low light than my current one. My current one's not absolutely terrible, but it's not great either.
Yeah.
Especially now that you guys are rocking mirrorlesses, you can get a lot more low light footage than I can, but yeah, I mean, I don't really feel like reading any more comments or anything. There was a comment. Actually, I will read one. Let me find it here. Bear with me. It's on the podcast. It's on Spotify. Someone left a comment that was rather...
See, I never see the Spotify comments.
There's been some good ones on Spotify. Keith commented, the best part of Monday morning is your podcast. Guys do a great job. Hopefully you guys can stop by the Harmar Tavern for a beer sometime when you're in Southern Ohio. Ask for Keith. They know me well. Here's the podcast. B. Melancon is the guy who left the comment. BMELANCON. B. Melancon. This podcast is brain rot. 7 minutes in, we've covered playing cards, fictional TV shows, America 250 Brother, gambling, and soccer.
Which podcast was that?
I don't know. It had to be one you were on. Obviously, we're talking about
soccer and gambling.
We're talking about soccer and gambling. I hit a parlay the other day on an Indians game.
You did.
Jose's first game back, I threw a quick 20 spot on a 4-leg parlay, and DeLauder won the parlay for me in the top of the 9th on his last at bat. Got himself a single, hit for like 129, I think, or 124. Mm-hmm. So starting off the fall with good parlay action.
I haven't made a bet since World Baseball Classic.
I've done maybe 4 or 5, maybe 5 or 6 on the Indians since football ended. I did a couple on soccer, didn't win shit. Messi fucked me over on that, so I only watched soccer because the guys at work were watching it. But Messi fucked my parlays over for soccer. Basketball, I guess I did a few for the Cavs playoffs, and they were worthless. Those did not go well. So, yeah, probably not going to do anything again until football. Last night I was thinking about, we're going down to Kentucky here. Last year I was thinking about how perfect of a weekend. Like, looking back, it's one of those, like, you never understand. You never appreciate how much fun you're having
until afterwards.
In the moment. Last year's opening weekend in Kentucky, our deer camp we had in Kentucky, me and Ethan, Born Again Matt, we get down there, we're staying in this rinky-dink, like...
birdhouse.
Yeah, it's like a cottage birdhouse. Like, it's very eclectic. It was cool, but it was, like, in town, like, in this little tiny town outside of, down the 20 miles from where we were hunting. And there was like room for 1.5 vehicles in the driveway.
And Matt's mega truck's there, so
Yeah, Matt has this big giant like redneck battle truck concoction thing, and we were that part of the story. It was fun. It was a good place to sleep. But that first night we go out, I was able to kill my buck. That story that went perfect. I remember we went back and got some Burger King waiting for Matt to show up because Matt's like 45 minutes to an hour from cell phone service. And then once he got cell phone service, it was another like 30 minutes for him to drive to our location to help with the recovery. So we went and got some Burger King. We should have got a better meal after that.
it was awful.
Yeah,
we were trying to not
Yeah.
be up all night too.
Well, that's where I'm going with this. So Matt ends up showing up. He did not partake in the Burger King with us because at that point he was dieting and eating out of a bag. Literally had freeze-dried meals, like Peaks or whatever.
He's probably going to buy some more this weekend.
Yeah, he got him at the Mobile Hunters Expo, which is this weekend as we speak. We ended up getting my buck out of there, stopped at a gas station, got some ice. The lady was like, "Oh, just shoot a deer." Like, she knew. Somehow she just knew that I'd shot a deer. I guess I was covered in blood and in camo. So either I was Ruby Ridge or, killed a deer. But, you must have shot a deer. So I get back, we get back to the cabin probably 11 o'clock.
Yeah. I go to bed.
Yeah, you and Matt go straight to bed because you're hunting in the morning. So I stayed up that night, butchered that deer on the tailgate of that truck in the driveway of this eclectic little cottage in town. And I remember it was like Stepford Wives. There was a woman at the house across the street who was watching me she was drinking a glass of wine. She watched me butcher that deer from her front window for like 2 hours in the middle of the night. I'm just getting smoked on bush lights and whiskey out there just butchering this deer on the tailgate of my truck. I was actually quartering and deboning it, not fully deboning, but quartering and skinning and caping on the tailgate of my truck. Finally get that all wrapped up, get in a shower and get to bed at I don't know, it was like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Sunday morning rolls around, you guys are out hunting. I wake up and I went and got
Subway.
But then I pulled the deer out of I remember I pulled all that deer. I went to Dollar General. I grabbed Subway and I went to Dollar General and got shower curtains. We had a folding like a picnic or like a folding like a card table type deal, plastic table. I set up in the living room of this Airbnb with the shower curtain on it, and I turned on Packers versus Lions, first game of the season. It was opening weekend in the NFL, Sunday 1 o'clock game. It was Micah Parsons' first game, and I brought my cooler in and I took all them deer quarters and everything and deboned them perfectly. While I was watching the game, I ordered this giant pizza and wings, had that delivered. And I put a parlay in that game. So it was Parsons' first game. I'm butchering this buck I killed. First buck I'd killed in 3 years. Watching in the living room, eating pizza, drinking whiskey. And I hit a parlay in that game with a Parsons sack for like $450. Mm-hmm. So the entire weekend paid for itself with a parlay that I made on the game that I was watching while I was butchering my deer. That was a deer camp experience that I'll never be able to get back again.
Yeah.
Like that was perfection. Buck down on film, eating and drinking good foods, enjoying myself, my game on TV, winning money on it. We won the game. It was just peak level perfection that day. And I don't think I won't be able to chase a deer camp memory like that one again because this week or this year the football doesn't start till we get back, so we're going to be hunting without football, which is
might
nice.
Be a good thing.
I prefer it because that we can spend all our time hunting and I don't have to be watching the game on my phone or anything like that. So that's going to work out. That's going to work out great for us this year from a hunting perspective because you can't expect to just kill a deer on open day.
What's going on up here?
I don't know. This semi's trying to pull out across 2 lanes of traffic.
Terrible.
Yeah, terrible. But looking back, last year's Kentucky trip, which we're heading down to Scout for now, was just, it worked out so perfect. And it's not, I'm going to be chasing that high myself for the next however many times we go down here to do this. You hunted the whole entire time. Yeah. You hunted the entire time we were down there and had multiple encounters with your buck. We called him your buck. It was a big 8-point last year. Saw him at least twice. The one time you filmed him well for a while, but
I really thought arrows at 100 yards.
Yeah, and I really thought it was going to happen too because he was coming out in the morning at times. Mm-hmm. So we thought for sure you'd be able to get an opportunity at him in the morning. and it just didn't happen. We may have got him on camera a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, possibility.
We're not completely sure. It was like a big 7, right? A big spindly 7 point. If it was him, he kind of lost a little bit.
Yeah, but where that camera is now, where it is right now, we never really got him on it last year, even though the camera was only 200 yards away from that area.
It wasn't very far away where you were getting him, but I guess it's possible that deer we got is him again. You think you might have found his shed from the year prior, too.
Yeah.
You were down there shed hunting.
Whole bunch of possibilities.
Yeah, we're filming. We are going to be filming this weekend for episode 1 of the Deer Camp Chronicles. So season 4, episode 1 is what we're filming for this weekend. That's our intro to the deer season episode that I put in every year. It won't have any hunting on it. It'll have our recap from last season. It'll have shed hunting in it, a quick touch on our turkey hunting, our summer projects, food plots, minerals, watering holes, summer velvet scouting, trail camera placement, this trip, the trip down to Gore's to get his cabin set up. Everything up until the Kentucky opener would be in that episode. And then episode 2 for season 4 of the Deer Camp Chronicles will be our deer camp in Kentucky this year.
And we're doing a bigger deer camp this year. We got a bigger Airbnb.
Yeah.
Kevin's coming down from Born Again.
Yep.
Spencer might come down.
Really?
Yeah, I was talking to him.
Spencer White.
Yeah, he might. He wants to hunt Kentucky. I told him to shack it with us and
Does
hunt
he
public.
do they have? Okay, that's what I was going to ask. Like, well, there's, Dylan will be out of town, right? Is Dylan going out west or no?
Mm-mm. But Dylan's not coming down. He got the baby.
That's true. But Luke, we're not sure whether Luke's joining us or not yet. 50-50 on that. The Born Again guys will be down here, Matt and Kevin. We've had Matt and Kevin before, but the last couple times it's been just Matt that we've been down. But this time, I believe Matt and Kevin will both be down here hunting. We're staying in a way bigger cabin. It's about a 40-minute drive from the property for us, which is fine.
Yeah, I don't care about driving.
No. I mean, it is nice to only have to drive 10 minutes, but it worked out better for Matt and Kevin, and the house is cheaper and bigger and gave us way more room to shoot our bows and stretch out and butcher deer.
Not in the neighborhood.
Yeah, not crammed up in this tiny little eclectic cottage, which it was fun, but it's going to be a little bit different this year. But yeah, and then you said so Spencer, huh? Interesting.
Yeah. He's been talking about it for a couple of years. I told him to pull the trigger.
Yeah, I mean, we'll be down there with plenty of room in the cabin to help dish out the cost a bit. So we're not quite exactly sure who's all showing up from our crowd, but at least 2, possibly 4.
Yeah.
Aaron Olson was not going to join us and then lost his lease and then got a new lease, and I still don't think he's going to sleep with. I don't think he's going to camp with us.
Yeah, he's going.
He's probably going to do his camper build. He will be down in Kentucky hunting somewhere, but just not with us.
Yeah.
Which is fine. But we've shared some camp with him before. He got really big into that. What's the company?
The camper company?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I want to say Freedom Campers, but it's, is it Freedom Campers?
Yeah, Freedom Campers.
He's made a couple videos on these Freedom Campers, and because he built this really cool camping trailer setup with his e-bike and a solar panel and
his
a kayak
grill
on it and his grill, his Ryobi drill, yeah. But all this stuff, and it's his series on these camper trails has really blown up and got a lot of exposure. So he's gonna be sleeping in that. So we won't be joined by the Born Again guys, or by the Next Step guys. We'll have Born Again and SBO and camp together. So
should be fun.
The last thing we'll touch on this first part, by the way, this is going to be like a dual parter. You're going to get another podcast when we're on our drive home with us telling you what we found. But I'll leave you with, we're going to go down there. We got 2 ladder stands to hang. I know the guy's like, what? Ladder stands?
Yeah, permanent builds.
But it's nice to have 2 setups where you can just rip up into them real quick without having to do any setup, especially if we're going to hunt mornings or first night observation type sits. We know the areas we like to have stands all the time, so we're going to put those ladder stands in those areas so that we can have those setups ready to go. We will still bring our mobile sets down with us. When we come down in September to actually hunt, I'll have my lone wolf set with me. Ethan will have a saddle, I'm sure. So we'll be able to move around if we want, no problem. But it is nice to have those first sits set and ready to go. And then we can tweak from there. And we got a pile of Wise Eyes in the back of the truck too, so that we can throw out some more cell cameras. There is no crops planted for the second year in a row. There's no crops planted on this farm. Obviously, we weren't able to get down there and do food plots or anything. So we're gonna find the natural travel route, see if there's any acorns dropping, see if there's maybe clover or somewhere where they're feeding heavily. See what the browse is. Maybe find some water or creek crossings and put these cameras up.
Probably put some bait out.
We might sling a little corn. Yeah, we're gonna sling some corn there, guys. A month before the season starts. You can't do it till tomorrow, technically.
Yeah, August 1st. That's why we're going down this weekend, specifically because in Kentucky you can't bait until August 1st, and it's July 31st today. So we got a hotel room, so we're legal beagle, and yeah.
Yeah, we'll probably buy some corn and then like some mineral blocks and some mineral type stuff and make a big area of just like feed or whatever so that we can kind of see what bucks are in the area. We haven't figured if we're going to do that in the open field by the bedding or maybe up against the woods somewhere. We're going to pick our spot to do that, but it's going to be for observation purposes. I don't want any bait or any type of attraction like that near my stand because I don't like the way you have to deal with does coming in and being like last year was just a pain in the ass with the does coming in downwind, circling, making noise. So I don't want to hunt nearby any of that this year. I want to be able to see it potentially with my binoculars and stuff so I can kind of see how the deer are moving to and from. But
you can be like Barney Matt and tell everyone that you didn't kill your buck over bait.
Yeah, I didn't kill my buck over bait. It was just 200 yards away heading towards my feed.
I could see it, but I wasn't over top of it.
Yeah.
We're just giving you good fun.
I will kill if we have a bigger one showing up on the bait regularly when we're down there again hunting in the future. I will move a mobile set in and kill them off it. I'm not afraid to.
Yeah,
but I want to be able to observe from afar and then tweak from there. But we'll refresh the mineral lake and we'll throw out a little bit of bait station, but then have some cameras on the travel. I have an idea where I think the deer are traveling through the grass, so we brought some weed whackers and stuff like that to open some stuff up if we need to. But should be a good weekend of getting stuff set up so that when we come back down and hunt in September, we'll be at ultimate excitement level. And I don't think we've ever hunted this farm and not had mature buck encounters. So
my first year, I don't think it was mature. I had buck encounters, but I don't believe they were mature. But
the first year I went down to this farm, me and Luke had one almost within bow range when we were hunting in a blind. If we would have been in a stand, we would have probably got a shot. And then last year, you had the all those encounters with your 8, even though you didn't kill them. And then I killed the buck that I killed. When we went down muzzleloader hunting 2 years ago, you missed a really good buck out in the field. We haven't confirmed if that deer is still alive or not. He was last year, and he was pretty big. So if he's still alive this year, he'd probably be really
even better.
Yeah, even better. But we're going to be set. We're going to be in good shape. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite trips of the year is getting this set up and then actually hunting it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the fact that we're going to be hunting in 5 weeks, 25 days from now, 26 days from now, pretty excited.
Yeah, it is pretty exciting.
Or 36 days from now, sorry. It's a little bit over 4 weeks from now we'll be hunting. And I can't wait. That's Kurt Geyer on a motorcycle.
Not actually.
Not actually. I think we're going to wrap up the first part of the pod here. We'll check back with you guys
on the way home.
On the way home, let you know what we found, what we did, and how it's feeling.
This is because we're doing some glassing tonight too, so we could find some good bucks tonight as well.
Yeah, there's a high point up there where we can get up and kind of watch the deer from afar and kind of see
what's going on,
what's happening down there. Because like I said, I know we've touched on it a couple times, but we've only had one camera out there since May. On a stump lick, the stump lick that we've always had. So we don't really know what else is using the farm and how they're coming across the open areas and all that. So we'll get it figured.
Yep.
We'll check back with you guys here in a minute. Peace out.
Peace. Part 2.
All right. Part 2. We're back. Heading home from Kentucky on Saturday morning. Mission accomplished down at the farm.
Yeah.
I'm sore. A little bit sore.
We didn't get any tick bites we know of.
I pulled 9 ticks off of me. And a couple of them were the Lone Star one with the white on its back, which I didn't like.
I pulled 7.
I'm not a big fan of the possibility of getting alpha gale.
That would not be cool. not be conducive to our lifestyle.
I don't think that'll be good for my lifestyle if I couldn't eat red meat, to be honest with you. I would have to do anything and everything to try and recover from that. But I don't think any ticks are embedded, so found all 9. We had ticks down there because it was overgrown as hell.
Yeah.
The farmer didn't plant for the second year in a row. We knew that. I think we talked about that a little bit on the way down. We knew that, but after seeing a full summer's worth of growth in those fields, how much of that was tillable at one time? Like that area that we hunt on that farm, how much do you think of that is tillable?
Probably.
That's probably 40 plus.
Yeah, I would say 40
50
acres.
acres of open land.
Because some of the middle was not tillable either, like where there's aspens, or there's aspens coming up.
No, they're like cottonwoods.
Yeah,
they have like a big, huge flat leaf, and they're like white bark.
Yeah,
I think they're like cotton. I think they're a type of cottonwood.
Wherever those are, it was not tillable.
I mean, it was probably 10 years ago.
Yeah, but not since we've been hunting it.
Yeah,
it's always been bedding area, which has been pretty nice.
Yeah, I mean, we got down there and did a quick lap around the property with the 4-wheeler real quick. Went back and checked our mineral lick, got more minerals on that, refreshed the camera, and then just kind of drove the edge of the fields to kind of see what the game plan was going to be. We busted a couple deer out doing that. We heard them run off. But Ethan pretty quickly decided he wanted to be right back where he was hunting last year, closer to where he was having those encounters.
Other side of the field,
Yeah.
but same field.
Hunting the same area he was last year. He wants to hunt that bachelor group of bucks that was out there. Obviously, we don't know how they're using it this year, and we will tonight when the trail cameras start to rip, but that's where Ethan wants to be. Make sure the quad doesn't fall off the back while we hit on those bumps. That's where Ethan wants to be, and he's going to hunt the same area. After we did our lap around the property, we went back and reassembled the ladder stands. We pulled 2 high-quality muddy ladder stands out of Luke's farm before we left. One that I had bought, one that Luke had bought, I believe, back in the day. They're really good stands. I like them a lot.
Yeah.
Heavy duty, like they're single man ladder stands, but they're comfortable. They have like a mesh seat in back, and they're really, really nice stands. Ethan went full blown autistic and took them apart and labeled the bolts and like followed. He found the guide online, like the user's guide online, and like deassembled them that way.
Son of a bitch.
Did you have a tick on you right now?
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Well, you're at 9 to 8.
Sorry for the wind.
Yeah, sorry for the wind real quick.
Transporting ticks across lines.
I haven't found any today yet.
What the fuck? Where'd that come from?
It might be inside I don't know. Now you got me all worried. We're going to be taking our clothes off and looking for ticks on the air here. He disassembled these ladder stands and labeled everything, put them in baggies, and bought extra bolts, and we transported them all down here. We had them in the cab of the truck because room was at a premium, and he might have 200,000 or 300,000 ants crawling around this truck. I don't know. We'll find out.
Get a vacuum out.
There were some ants in those ladder stands, those big black ones. But so after we did a lap around the property, we assembled the ladder stands.
In the 90-degree sun.
Oh my God! I took my shirt off, was dripping sweat with ticks crawling all over me in 90-degree direct sunlight right next to a highway. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful sight to see, I'm sure. And I know that some of the hardcore mobile hunters would be like, Jesus Christ, these dudes are fucking ladder stands and corn piles.
We were looking. It would be very difficult to not do any prep work and hunt this with any kind of mobile gear.
Yeah, so that was part of what we were going to do, is try and find some spots. And we've been hunting for 3 or 4 years now, so we have an idea of the farm, but we were kind of trying to find some trees where Ethan could get his saddle up in, or I could throw up my lone wolf and my sticks. Here's the problem that we have, and I'll explain this. It's actually very similar to the Gore farm where I was last week. We talked about earlier in this podcast. The fields, the way the fields sit, right outside the edge of the field, it goes down towards a creek bottom. And the timber has not been logged in many, many years. So the trees that are in between the fields and the creek bottom, and it's a I would call it a river actually. It's called a creek, but I mean it's a good sized stream.
Where there's a creek on one side and a big river on the other side. The creek runs into the river and it flows through the property.
So that area that hasn't been logged in a while has incredibly mature trees. I mean, we're talking like the average tree in that area, you cannot reach around it and touch on the other side. So they're on the bigger side of what you could like safely mobile hunt. You're not going to be able to reach around and grab your straps. You're not going to be able to reach around and grab your tether. You're going to be throwing stuff around the tree and trying to catch it on the other side. We're talking 100-plus-year-old oaks, cottonwoods, and there's a bunch of big pines too that had to have been planted, I guess. But these trees, are not mobile huntable. And then over time, the area that's open in the field, that buffer zone between where they were planting crops, which is now CRP, and those trees starting, is 10 to 15 yards of multiflora rose and just willow trees, greenbrier, just thick edge. These fields have not been taken care of. So we have a transition line from old 100-year-old hardwoods, a thick edge of just 20-foot tall bushes, trees. It's got those red-stemmed long leaf, like they look like blueberry plants almost. A lot of that shit's in there. So there's just fescue or whatever you want to call it, this edge, which is really good habitat for the deer. These deer love bedding coming through and all that. But, between the trees that we can get a stand up in and the edge of the field where the deer are feeding and hanging out in the evenings and the mornings is 15 to 20 yards. And some of it's so tall that it's actually taller than what you can see through. So in order to find trees on the field edge to get in mobily, it was very, very tough. Both our ladder stands that we put up are in trees you can't reach around. So they're in very large trees, which I don't usually like to do. I like to be able to at least touch tip to tip in the back if I'm reaching around a tree. I don't like to go much bigger than that. Opportunity just made it so this time, we had no choice. We're going to have some difficulties with our camera arms. We're going to have to modify the straps on our camera arms or come up with some kind of system for our camera arms to be able to use well in these huge trees as well.
You're in a big pine?
I'm in a huge old pine, and I love the cover and I love the view. You're in some kind of bullshit tree with lots of stems.
Yeah.
Poison oak all around. You don't have any. I'm starting to itch on my leg here.
Common buckthorn is what it was. I Googled it.
I got a little bit of poison ivy going on, but not bad. I'm probably going to end up having more after this week, but a couple days from now. But when it comes to the mobile hunting stuff, which we like to do on trips, it's just not good for it. There are smaller trees we could definitely get our stuff inside the timber line, but the property line is on the river bottom, and the river bottom wraps that field. There's only maybe 100-yard buffer in between the river and the field. So it's, it is a good pinch, and I'm sure that the bucks cruise it, especially during the rut. But it's usually the way the wind blows through there, the woods is on the upwind side. So if they're going to cruise the downwind side of the timber, they're going to be in the field. So we've always done all our hunting based on this field area. And they're also now, like Ethan said, the middle of these fields, it hasn't been planted in at least probably 10-ish years. So there's probably like a 5 to 10 acre area and they're kind of spaced apart a little bit, but of these cottonwood trees that are now, some of them probably 10, 15 feet tall.
8, 10 feet tall.
My buck that I killed last year came out of those cottonwoods to the tree line and then walked down in front of me. I watched another smaller buck do it. The group of bucks Ethan was hunting last year did not do that. They came out of the bottom, like an actual hardwoods bottom up into the field and worked that way. But yesterday when we were glassing after being down there, we watched 2 does and a small buck come out of that cottonwood. So even with us being around there with the four-wheeler, the deer stayed tight to that cover the entire time and came out into the field afterwards. So, that middle section of cottonwoods is probably what I'm banking most on my deer that I would get an opportunity at killing coming out of. Now, let's talk about the corn and the cameras. I know we're going to catch some grief in the comments, but yes, we did put down some corn while we were down there. We're 6 weeks before the season, so I'm not too worried about the whole hunting over corn thing. We'll see what the cameras tell us. We're definitely using it for inventory because we've only had that one camera down there on the mineral lick all summer. So This corn is going to definitely be used for inventory. Both we did 2 piles. Both piles are out in the fields. Ethan's is kind of within bow range of his stand. Mine is probably a little over 100 yards away, maybe a little bit more from my stand. I have mine, I call it mine, the corn pile that's closest to me is out in the edge of the cottonwoods, 100 yards across that field from me, so that I can watch where my tree stand is. I'll be able to watch all the critters, all the deer come from all different angles and see how they come in and kind of use that if we have corn there when we come down and hunt. I don't know if we'll rebait while we're hunting or not.
Yeah, we'll see what it looks like, how much is left when we get down there, how they're using it as well.
Yeah, I mean, if they're in the evenings, if there's shootable bucks in the evenings feeding on that corn for a long period of time, we'll probably bait when we come down again. Just because if it works, it works. You know, we are anti-baiters, and we wish they would change the law. But in these states where it is the law, you have to play with the times. You know what I mean? You have to play the game that the hand of cards that is dealt you.
These bucks also use these fields without the food there too. We know they do. We've seen it for multiple years now.
Yep.
And we're gonna see, maybe the bait will be gone. We don't put any more out when we hunt over it, but that'll be a game time decision.
Yeah, we'll make that decision on whether we're gonna refresh the corn when we hunt or not. When the field, the 2 years that the field was that the field was planted soybeans, and they were good soybeans, we didn't do any baiting at all, and we got close both times. So if we would have had a field of actual crop, I probably wouldn't have thrown any down. But last year when we were scouting and they didn't do the crops, we did notice that the neighbor, you could see it across the stream, the neighbor had a small food plot. I don't know if it's a food plot or if it's just part of the field that they plant as well. It's only half an acre.
It was beans
it's not even half
last
an acre.
year.
Maybe around half an acre. We had a bean food plot in the woods, and then a pile of corn, a couple piles of corn and some tacticams next to it. So, so we know that the
150 yards off of the field edge that we hunt.
Yeah, so we know that the neighbors are baiting right across the river and have food plots and stuff. So, you know, we have to do the diligence on our end to make sure that we hopefully we have some opportunities at some velvet bucks while we're down there. But we'll see how it goes. I'm pretty excited to watch the cell cameras tonight. We weren't in there very much this morning, so we did all that stand hanging, picking our spots, prepping the area for corn yesterday. And we got up early this morning to beat the rain down there and buzzed on over. Finished last little stand work that Ethan needed to have done, and then we dumped out that corn and then loaded up all our crap and left.
Yeah. I like my stand location. It's where I had the encounters with the 8-point last year. The field, it bowls down to where I'm at, so my thermal's going to pull down past me and then not work out into the field, hopefully. With the wind and thermals. If we would have put it on top of the hill, it would have pulled down into the creek bottom and into the field edge that I wanted to hunt. So that's why we didn't put the stand up top.
Yeah, he's kind of on, if you picture a spine, if you go across one side of the spine is a natural creek bottom, you come across the other side of the spine is a watering hole. It's an old pond thick area. Ethan is on the pond thick area of the spine on the downward slope of it, so that he wants his scent to pull down to that old pond area, and then the deer will be up top and they won't be able to smell him. If there is no wind or a north wind, it'll
I
work
think
properly.
even a bad wind for me, I think my thermal will still pull past the wind, depending on how strong the wind is, obviously. But like a 5 mile per hour, I'm not scared of hunting with the opposite wind that we need because of the thermals, because I know how they pull down on that field so bad.
Yeah. You don't want them pulling over the other side at all. That's the key. Not having them pull over the opposite side of the spine towards the creek where they were coming out last year. Obviously, things could be changed, and the deer could not be doing that again this year. We're going to find out via the cell cameras here pretty soon. So, like I said, I'm pretty excited to see how those cameras look tonight. In the next couple days, we're going to get a good lay of what's going on
next
down there.
month.
Yeah, over the next month. This first couple of days is going to be key, I think.
It's going to be exciting. I
There's
love new cameras.
Yeah, and there's a whole bunch of deer from last year and the year before that I would love to see. We don't know what the turnover rate is for deer there. We've talked to a bunch of guys that hunt in that town, but we haven't really talked to anyone that we know of really that hunts close by to where we are.
Yeah.
So we don't know, are people killing a lot of mature bucks? Are people just killing the first buck that walks by? Do they take a lot of does? We don't know how the area is really hunted. There's definitely been some deer that have lived year to year to year in that area that we've got on trail camera 2 years in a row, working on 3 years in a row now for some of them, like that big 10-pointer.
Mm-hmm.
We're fairly certain that big 10-pointer from last year was back. We had him on camera. We had a buck that looked very similar, and he's a large 10-pointer. There was a buck you missed with your muzzleloader that we've mentioned a few times already. We haven't got him yet this year, but if we did get him this year, it'd be year 3 for him. That 10-pointer, he might be one of the deer from 3 years ago, because Dylan has a shed of a nice 10-point from over there in that same area, and there was a lot of deer. The last year that it was beans, 3 seasons ago now, there was a lot of bucks. A lot of different bucks were using it when it was beans. So now that there's not crops, the number of bucks has kind of gone down a bit, but still definitely bucks here that we could kill and that we're excited about. The 4-wheeler worked really good, having the 4-wheeler down there. We put a rack. I bought, and then Ethan put on a rack on the front. I guess you'd call it a cage, or I don't know what you call it, a metal basket on the front. Game changer for holding stuff. Nothing falls out when you're driving around anymore. It's just absolute game changer. Having the quad itself down there is a game changer, because carrying everything would have been pure misery. We'd still be down there working now.
Yeah, it'd be awful.
Be just pissed and really turn this into a day. The quad, my brute force, the only downside of the Kawasaki brute force is the radiator screen is right in the front, and with it being as overgrown with weeds and stuff, the seed and the chaff and the weeds clogged up my radiator, and we knew that was going to happen. I was trying to keep it as clear as I can, but we're going to have to go to town with the pressure washer when we get back, because the thing was clogged up, overheating a lot. We almost burned the whole woods or the whole field down once.
Yeah, that would have been bad.
A stick got wedged into the front of the quad and was up against the exhaust, which was nuclear hot, and caught on fire. So luckily I was able to pull it out just in time to where it didn't actually burn my quad apart. So that's cool.
Yeah, that would have been terrible.
That would have just sucked so many balls to lose my quad and then that whole field while we were down there. But I was able to prevent that, so that's good. Trying to think what else we went over. The Wise Eyes, we set up our Wise Eyes. We've been flawless for the last 3 years. We're going to have a Wise Eye podcast coming up soon. Maybe try and get a representative from the company on to join us, because they've worked so well for us. I don't really have any complaints. For this trip, we switched away from the Amazon batteries and went and bought some actual Energizers, plus the external battery boxes to last until we go back down. So we'll see how long those Energizers last. If you've ever listened to our podcast or watched our videos, you know that I buy those Amazon batteries in bulk, but I believe I've started getting duds. I think the quality of those Amazon batteries, and obviously you're going to get what you pay for.
Yeah.
But the quality of those Amazon batteries has gone downhill. They were really good 3-4 years ago, and they've been good ever since. But this last year, I've been getting some cameras that have just lost connectivity, or the batteries die. They get down to 50%, and the batteries just instantly die. And they shouldn't do that. I think it's all mostly battery related, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
So we switched to Energizers for this trip, just because these cameras are 400 miles away, and we want to be able to make sure they last until we get down here and hunt again. But flawless.
Had to make some of our own stick and picks.
Yeah. So we stopped at TSC on the way down, or Rural King, I don't know, one of them. TSC, looking for a stick and pick, a camera stake that you can put out in the field, and nothing. So then we forgot to. I don't know if I even have any at the farm that aren't being used at work, but we got down there, went to a Walmart to buy some supplies, and they didn't have one either. So we didn't really have time to fool around and try and find a hunting outfitter store or something of that nature, because I don't think there is even one.
Maybe a Rural King. Maybe.
I don't know if there's one close by or not,
but I was looking on their website, and they seemed like they were out of stock everywhere too.
Yeah, it's that time of year, and the hunting section was pretty loaded last night at 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah,
or whatever time we got in there, 9-ish, whatever time we got there last night to Walmart. There was a lot of people in there, because today is the first day that you can officially bait. So they had the pallets of corn and all that. A lot of Big and J. Big and J's popular now.
Yeah,
it was all ready, but so we got that taken care of. we ended up using.
I think they're like hummingbird feeder holders.
Yeah, like either that or like a hanging plant holder with a hummingbird on them, metal like J-hook looking holder thingamabob.
So we just shoved wood in it and zip tied them.
Yep, we did the old stick method up against it, used my zip ties to zip tie the cameras on there. And once we got the cameras secured to them tight, then you had to stake them into the ground so that the camera was level and even with the picture had to be even. The stakes are kind of sitting at an angle. You'll see it in the video when you watch season 4, episode 1. But we made it work. Got the external batteries hooked up. They're running. They're ripping. Sending pictures of us setting up that the boys could see back home. But it went pretty flawless. We didn't hang any other. I was gonna possibly hang some cams on some travel routes and creek crossings and stuff, but we kind of decided to forego that plan. We're bringing some cameras home with us that we'll use to put out at the farm or for Moby or something.
Yeah, we got 3 cameras in the 3 places they need to be, so
yep,
we will see how they look for the next month.
That spot that has the mineral lick, and it's had the mineral lick for 3 or 4 seasons now, and it's the camera that had been down there. There are some skinnier trees in that pinch. It's a corner of the field meets the river, so it is a really skinny pinch. If we're not having a good time hunting in the timber, that's a good place to mobile hunt. One of us can get in there and easily hang a stand in one of them trees.
Yeah, but cover and then thermals, I think, play a big part there.
Yeah.
They could smell you from everywhere.
But if it's the last day or two, we need to make something happen.
Because I've hunted there
aggressive
2 out of the 4 years or 3 out of the 4 years, and it just never works.
Yeah, I think that they use that in the rut inside the tree line a lot. But
I found a shed back there this spring, little guy, but in that area.
Yeah, and there was a scrape that they were using. Was it last year?
2 years ago.
We had a scrape out in front of there that was getting some action, not a ton, but some action. It seemed in the past that this farm had a lot more early season feeding action than it did rut action, to be honest with you, because we didn't find a lot of old rubs or anything, not a ton.
Not what you would think with how it lays out,
and with the amount of bucks that were using it in September, you would have thought we'd find a lot more sign, but we just didn't. But we are all set. We're gonna fly down there that Saturday of opener, get our stuff in the Airbnb, and then head straight to the woods. And that first night is gonna be just epic. I love the view from my stand is crazy. I can see thousands and thousands of yards in all directions.
He has the ability to see. He can't physically see it because he's blind.
Right. I got binoculars, so that it's going to help me be able to see that far. My stand is a very good. It's almost like an observation stand that's in the game still. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's an observation style stand that sees a lot of the field and the cover, but the trails that lead out to the field and the trails coming through the field from the bedding and then back into the timber go right within bow range of my stand. A whole bunch of them. I might have a problem similar to last year. I think the buck that I killed last year, I think he was intending on possibly taking my trail into the woods that I used as entry for my stand. That situation could possibly arise again this year. I used a deer trail to get to the base of my tree where the stand is, so I could have him in tight this year, which not necessarily a bad thing. If it's the right buck, I just got to make sure that I kill him before he wins me. Otherwise, it's going to be a lot of snorting and blowing, but not really a bad thing, I guess.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out. It's promising.
It is very promising. Very promising. Do you have anything else you want to add in about Kentucky?
I don't think so.
I think that pretty much covers it. I mean, it was a good trip. We're going to be back home at a good time. If you're listening this week, Medina County Fair, 4 to 7. We will be there every single day, one of us.
4 to 7 or 3 to 7?
4 to 7.
4 to 7.
I think it's 4 to 7. It's 3 hours.
Okay.
4 to 7, Medina County Fair, Community Center. Our booth will be there. Uncle Jay will be there 1 or 2 days. Gore will be up there with me. The brothers will be in and out. Mama Simon will be there a lot. Jay's merchandise will be on sale. I'll run down the bucks again. My Kentucky buck, my Ohio buck, Freeman's buck, Gore's buck, Tyler's buck. I got to get a hold of Tyler and make sure he knows that I'm coming to get his deer.
Luke's buck.
And Luke's buck will all be in the booth, ready to go, on display, with our videos playing.
Yeah.
Check it out. Check out the Medina County buck display. So there will be the booth next to ours, which is actually 4 booths. So it's a big one. will be the Medina County Hunters buck display that I have helped coordinate this year. It's somewhere between 25 to 50. I don't know how many we'll end up getting. We'll see. Deer will be on display with a bunch of other taxidermy and stuff, all Medina County or Ohio related deer.
Yeah.
So come see
Should
that.
be a good time. Bring the kids, bunch of stuff for the kids to do.
Yeah, tons of stuff. So there's like interactive shooting ranges, BB gun ranges. I think there's like a maze type deal. There's places to get your picture taken. There's an Indian teepee. The ODNR is there. There's a fishing tank. The big draw in the center, right across from us, is the fishing tank. Come in and catch some bluegill. I saw bluegill, crappie, perch. I think last year they put a couple small catfish and bass in there, largemouth bass. So come fish at the Medina County Fair.
It's a good introduction for the kids into the wilderness.
Yes. Yep, sure is. I'm glad that they started doing this program and that we've got involved with helping with it and getting it set up and all that stuff for the kids. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's a good thing for the fair to be involved because there's a lot of outdoorsmen in our area, and if you listen to the talking heads, this kind of thing's going away, and we don't want it to happen. So we got to push for it.
But yeah. What is this, episode 149?
Yeah, I think that's all we got for you. Close to an hour. Appreciate you guys watching us drive around in the car and talk about our scouting trips. The podcasts from here on out are going to be a lot of discussions about deer, roundtables about deer, guests on, just to kind of get in the studio and talk about the deer they killed last year, the deer they're going to try to kill this year, or certain tactics about deer. It's going to just be a lot of deer.
Yeah, hope you're ready because we are.
I got the Pavlik Boys podcast done last week, so I can no longer say one of these days we're going to get the Pavlik Boys on, but we do still want to get Matt on and do a little showcase of their trophy room that they talked about. So that's going to be coming down the pike. I teased the Bigfoot podcast for like a year or two now, and we haven't been able to sit down and coordinate that one at all, and it's going to take some work on my end, which is not going to happen now during the heavy deer season. So that one might end up being shelved until the off season, I believe, just the way it's going to be, unfortunately. But the Bigfoot podcast will happen one day, I promise.
If there's any other topics or guests you want to hear, let us know. Leave a comment. Reach out to us.
Yeah, let us know. Local guests are easier because we'll be able to get them in studio. So if you're a local listener and you have someone or something you want to hear about, reach out to us. We're not shy. On Instagram or Facebook or just my personal Facebook page, it doesn't matter. Reach out. Say, hey, I'm really interested in so-and-so or this person, or I would like to be on, or I want to tell the story about my deer, or I got this cool idea. Just let me know. Reach out. If it's a national person, someone famous, I'll do my best with my contacts and people I know in my web that I weave to try and either get a hold of them or see what I can do about it. I'm not guaranteeing I'm ever going to be able to get Ted Nugent or Mark Drury or Josh Bomar on the podcast, but if I possibly have an opportunity one day to get some of those guys on to talk about their viewpoint, I'll see what I can do. But we're not quite there yet where I can just make the phone call and have Lee and Tiffany join up the deer shop.
Would be cool.
And chat. But yep, this is episode 149, season 3, episode 2 of the podcast. Next week is a big 150. Maybe we'll have to do something cool for that, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll record it at the fair with some people. I don't know. We'll see. But thank you guys for listening. Deer Shot Podcast, episode 149.
We're out.
We're out.